What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, both of those given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we've contacted or hit or impacted directly and indirectly 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We're broadcasting live on August 9th. And August 9th is a significant day for me. A, it's my younger brother's birthday. B, it's one of my first cousin's birthdays. So I've spoken with my brother today. He's actually going to a football game with his family. He's a big fan of the local Canadian football team, the CFL football team, the Toronto Argonauts. So they are taking a GO train. They live in a city, Woodstock, which is about an hour and 15 minutes drive from where I am. So they're on their way to a football. They've been season ticket holders for years. So that's going on. And after the show today, I will give my nephew a call, wish him a happy birthday. Also, heat wave going on in Toronto. I think is this the 6th heat advisory we have going on this summer in Toronto, the 6th. And that is really rare for Toronto to have this much heat during a summertime. And we're not complaining because in about 4 or 5 months, we're going to say, oh, man, I wish we had that summer heat. But it's all good. And during last week's show, people noticed I was blowing my nose a little bit, had a bit of coughing. So I'm usually, when I have some things like that, I let it see if I can get rid of it normal remedy-wise for about 3 or 4 days. And I said, no, this past Thursday, I said, you know what? Let me go into a walk-in clinic. Now, walk-in clinics, honestly, can be long waits. I said, all right, there's one I've went to before. It's about 10 minutes drive from where I live. So I called ahead of time. I called around 9 o'clock because I saw their hours were 9 to 6 online. They said, oh, we open up at 10 o'clock. I said, okay, I'll come around 20 to 9 or so. Get there, 8:45. I'm waiting in my car. And a gentleman gets out, walks in. I said, oh. And I go, oh, I should have just came in and waited. But there was one other person waiting. Hooray, hooray. Nice that I only had to wait about 30 minutes. Doctor prescribed me some antibiotics and some nose spray. So I'm better than I was last week. Still not out of the trees yet, but we're working on it. But I don't want to let you guys down on the show or myself down on the show. With all that introduction, let us bring to the stage LaLa, who having some electrical challenges where she is. She may just be on maybe audio watch today. And Dr. Tachi is with us today. Aisha is not with us because she has a family event to take care of. So we are blessed and highly favored to have Dr. Tachi in the house. Ladies, how you all?
Yes, we are. I love it when Dr. Tachi joins us.
Hello.
And you know what? One of the reasons I wore a hat today because Dr. Tachi is known for hats, and you're not wearing a hat today.
No, I actually went to an event, not my chapter of Delta, but another chapter of Delta had a community meeting because they had, it was actually an event that was a community meeting, and they have a foundation where they do different things for the community. So this was their biannual report, but it was also an event because they had food and all sorts of things. So I said, you know what, let me actually do my hair for once.
By the way, Dr. Tachi, your hair looks great on you.
It does. It looks
thank
cute.
you.
And check out the earrings, LaLa.
I love it. You know, I love the big hoops. I'm a hoop girl.
Am I.
By the way, LaLa, the earrings you're wearing on your online yesterday, fire on you.
Thank you. I have a really good friend who made those. She does jewelry.
Okay.
Oh,
Very nice. As I always do now with Primetime, ladies, can you tell me a win that you've had recently, big or small?
go ahead, LaLa.
Not.
My win was, I
Or
have
a
a lot
win.
of
You don't
good
have to make it
wins.
a win. You don't have to make it. It doesn't have to be just a win.
Oh, I walked a 10K.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
And there
When
were
was
hills
this?
and valleys and valleys and hills, but it took me about close to 3 hours because I walked and didn't run it. And because there were some pretty steep hills, but it felt good. My body actually really craved that. So that's a win.
Absolutely. You're making me feel bad. I haven't worked out much over the last few weeks, so I have to get to. So thanks for the encouragement,
I love
Dr.
it.
Tachi. Oh, go ahead, LaLa.
I just love it. That's my peace time. Honestly, I use my walks and my runs as my peace time. I clear my head, listen to things that I love, listen to positive things, and just have talks with God on my walks and runs. And so it was very nice because it was also a lot to see because it was along the ocean. So hey, you can't beat that.
You can't. And what were you listening to on your walk?
I listened to a lot of Prince this week, and also Sanandra, which everybody
Ooh.
knows him as Terrence Trent. He did a really great
yes.
podcast this week. Oh my God, I was so happy to hear him on that podcast. And a
Yes.
lot of the things that he was talking about on that podcast, I was like, oh my God, that sounds like me. Like, I was just like, I just couldn't believe it. And so he was just really honest about it. And I'm glad that he's living his best life.
Who is this I see. I don't listen to a lot of. I don't keep.
Terrence Trent D'Arby. He's
Remember
Oh,
Terrence
okay.
Trent
No, no,
D'Arby?
okay. I know. I remember that. Okay, I
Yeah.
remember him. Yes.
So
His
he's
name
changed
is
his name.
Sanandra.
Okay. Well, thanks for the updated culture report. I obviously I'm not that plugged in, but and how is Mr. Darby doing these days?
Well, he's still, he moved to Italy a long time ago, but most artists of his caliber also do because honestly, people overseas appreciate music so much more. But his wife is Italian, and he wanted his children to also grow up where her family was in a village in Italy, and he's been living there for many years. Not in the last 5. I mean, he's lived most of his career in Italy.
Okay. Dr. Tachi, a win from you.
Well, first of all, I 100% agree. I think now people are starting to wake up to the fact of, oh, well, there is someplace else that I can grow and thrive and probably thrive even more. And so I'm loving to see Anandra over there, the artist formerly known as Terrence Trent D'Arby. I've always been in love with him and his music, so I'm so happy to hear that and see that. Win. So IndieSoup Media is now the official media sponsor for the National Black Debutante Project. So if you remember, we did a program with them where we had just some wonderful individuals from some of the oldest cotillion clubs in the country. And so we worked it out now that we are the official sponsor anytime they have those conversations. So yeah, that was a win. And the past 2 days, Thursday and Friday, I attended the podcast summit in Atlanta. I was not in Atlanta. I did it virtually.
How was
when
that?
I tell you, oh my gosh, the best money I've ever spent. And you know how very much about actionable steps I am and all these conferences that are just there to give inspiration. My friend, I don't need inspiration. There's enough on YouTube that I can get inspired by and people in my real life. I don't need to pay for that inspiration. But this was a combination. Of course, there was inspiration there, but there was also actionable steps. It was fantastic. And, I was looking a little hashtag side eye at first, because it was Shawana who said, hey, I'm like, that's nice. I'm not interested in going because I already know what kind of conference it was going to be. Shut me clear up as soon as I started attending.
Shut me clear up.
I am so pleased with my experience. And so if you ever get a chance to either go in person or do the virtual, please attend the podcast summit Atlanta.
Okay, congratulations. Actually, someone I follow was posted about that yesterday, saying they learned how to create their own AI avatar or something like that, or I don't know. But what was
there was a whole AI track?
Yeah, what was one nugget you took away from that event?
So Omar, I can't remember his last name, but you probably have seen him.
Yes, he used to be with Think Media.
With Think Media, yes. Omar, that used to be with Think Media.
He's amazing.
He was one of the speakers. He's amazing. He said something that I said, you don't say. He said that you should consider starting a separate shorts channel on YouTube.
I've heard that before. Yes. Yep.
So I never thought about it, but when you think about it, it makes sense. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's not like you don't already have the content if you do long form. You just have to do. Blew my mind. So that was one thing that was really amazing.
You know what's really interesting? About a year ago, I reached out to him, asking if he'd be interested to come on the show, and it never came to fruition. So because you brought his name up again, I'm going to reach back out to him. He said he was interested in coming on the show, but he is very, very good. Actually, you know whose coach he is? Who coaches him? Kirk Nugent.
Oh, wow.
Kirk coaches him, or he coaches Kirk?
Omar coaches Kirk.
Ah, okay. Well done, Kirk.
Yeah, yes.
Because and I've been following Omar for a while, but I've never heard him do a talk like this. So I'm just amazed with a mix of different types of people.
Yeah, I got to send him a video message. I would love to have he has such a good presentation style.
Excellent presentation style.
Yeah, excellent. Not assuming, non-judgmental, really, really smooth style. So that is fantastic. That is money and time well spent. Fantastic. All right. We shared some wins. We're going to take a break, and we got some stuff to chat about, and we got something up our sleeve today that not even LaLa and Dr. Tachi know about. We'll be back in 30 seconds. We welcome everyone to Black Men Can Talk.
The people who are going to be the yes men for the leadership, populace or whatever, are the people that are put in positions of power.
And the best thing he did for us was he gave us leadership. He goes, you know what? I need you guys to lead this.
Significant changes are going to happen because we need support. We need help in areas of healthcare.
Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but the uncomfortable piece is assuring you that you're on the right path.
Yes, yes. Black Men Can Talk. Sunday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern. No, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. All right. And I had something in my mind that I wanted to share, and now I lost it. Oh, no. Okay.
Maybe I'll remind.
Maybe it'll come back. All right. Let's do some housework, and then some comments have come in, and we'll take it from there. So, first of all, you know what? The girlfriends chat, yes, with Aisha, LaLa, and Jill on Patreon. Well, there's still stuff on Patreon, but if you want to really catch them on Substack. And I am loving sharing content on Substack, especially video content. Primetime Saturday Show Store. If you want to pick up some goods, there's the link. Join the Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the VIBESHOW.com. And there, we're jumping all over the place. All right, there we go. And there's the link for Discord. And subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. I want to get to 1,800 and I don't know what are subscribed. It's sort of on a plateau, but I'm getting some mentorship on how to make that happen. Oh, things are going all over the place. To advertise your business, product, or service on any platforms that I'm on, email me dr.vibe at the VIBESHOW.com. I'll save the next part because, I'll say it anyways. IndieSoup TV. I'll let Dr. Tachi tell you about it because it's her baby.
Sure, if you insist. So IndieSoup Media is an independent network for independent content creators. I am the founder. We have lots of different types of content to whet your content appetite. Why wouldn't you be subscribed? You can subscribe to us on YouTube, as you can see in the banner down there at IndieSoup Media, and visit us on our website, IndieSoupMedia.tv.
Question: how many subscribers now?
We're still hovering around this where are we? 28.7?
Okay.
27.8, something like that.
Okay.
So we're still hovering there, but it's growing little by little.
Absolutely. Oh, now I remember what I wanted to share with you. Since both you are live streamers, have you heard about this new open source or almost free platform called Meld?
No.
Have you heard of Meld?
Yes, but I don't know very much about it.
Okay. I don't know a lot, but D Niman of Nick and D did a really good video, about 20-minute video on it this week. It is free, and the owners are saying that everything is free now is going to stay free. But if you are a person that does solo camera stuff, live stream, he says, check it out, and you can also stream to different platforms. And they're looking to grow and add more features along the way. So I will definitely share that link to that conversation with both of you, because I know you both are prolific live streamers and always like to keep ahead of the curve.
I'm excited. I always like to see new stuff.
All right.
So do I.
Let's get some comments to the family. Regina Phil says, look at this, Dr. Tachi looking elegant this evening. Fabulous hair too. I love this.
Thank you.
Well, she's always looking for you when you're not here, Dr. Tachi. You need to know that. She's always looking for you. It's just there's many a time to say, I wish Dr. Tachi was here to do some comments on this. So you got her. All right.
Yes, I'm here today.
All right. She also says, happy to be here. Producer Matt says, congrats, Dr. Tachi, on landing that great collaboration.
Thank you.
Enlightened Beings is in the house, says, hello, family. Oh, Ryan. What is up? Ryan says, hello, Dr. Vibe. Ryan was a intern that was with me a little over a year and a half ago from.
I remember Ryan.
Yes. And I believe, have you graduated with your master's yet? You need to update me on that. But Ryan, I appreciate not saying anything against my other interns, but he stays in touch. Anything that I post, especially on Instagram, he likes and all that. So we are definitely due for a catch-up conversation on it. So good to hear from you. All right. Those who are here today, even our two friends, LaLa and Dr. Tachi, they don't know anything about this. So we are launching something totally brand new today. So let me pull it up, because you're going to go, what's Dr. Vibe got up his sleeve? So let me find it. I was going to put it in the green room, but they'd asked too many questions. So I didn't want them to be asking questions. So I wanted to totally surprise. So just give me a quick second to bring it up. Ladies, you have any guess on what we're going to be launching today?
Not at all.
Oh.
No.
Okay. All right. Let me find it. Here we go. Open. All right. Going forward, people, if you have a cell phone, you can scan this code. You can call into the show and add.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
You can either go to whether you're on a desktop, laptop, tablet, you can go into your favorite web browser and put in the address, https://callme.rode.com, or you can scan your smartphone. You'll be going to a page that will ask, you'll put in the code, then you'll ask for your name, and then you can press a button, and I will see here on my device here that you're calling in, and I can let you in. Now, behave yourself. If you're going to use crazy language, I'm going to cut you. But going forward, for today's show and going forward most of the time, if you want to add to the conversation, you're already doing it via messages in the comment section, you'll now be able to call in. So we will see who's going to be the first caller. All right.
Wow.
So see, no ladies knew about it. So let's get to our first. Look at this. Enlightened Being says Dr. Vibe has surprises. Yes.
Yeah.
And Ryan says, I'd like to catch up soon. I have a few revisions to make of my master's work, but I'll be definitely graduating in October. Excellent
Oh,
year.
congratulations.
Anything that myself and I think Dr. Tachi remembers you, anything that we can do to help with that happening, don't be afraid to ask. And Enlightened Beings goes, call-ins? Why? Wah! So let's get to our first conversation piece. And if anyone's up for calling, what we'll do is I'll put it up periodically on the side and you can call it in. So ladies, first off, what do you think about that feature before we get into our first thing?
That's super cool. I can't wait to see who's going to use it.
We'll see.
I love it because I'm all about this new age of media is totally interactive. I'm so excited about not only people being able to leave comments in real time, but now we can also probably hear their voices in real time, which is great, you know.
All
so
right.
I love it.
So family, the line is open if you want to use it, and I'll put it up periodically on the screen and also in the on our lower thirds at the bottom. But let's get to our first conversation topic. Texas AG sues to remove Democratic lawmakers who remain absent from legislature.
They obviously don't know how this works, but none of them do. This is not how we do. These are elected officials that are taking care and standing up for the people that they represent. And because they are against this racist regime, which is already rigged, they are trying their best to remove them. Now, there is a seat, and I can't remember which district it is, that has been unrepresented, that is mostly Latina and Black. And there's over 800,000 people that live in that area. When someone passed away in that district, they, meaning the state, were supposed to have special elections. They did not, because they wanted to make sure that this gets handled the way that they want it done, so those people cannot be represented. And they have not had representation for over 8 months. Now, when people are standing up for their constituents, you have a problem with that? Let me tell you something, Ted Cruz. Where are you? Every time something happens, where are you? You're in Cancun somewhere, right? And someone said the other day, you know, and this was one of the leaders, they said, you know, when Trump called up Atlanta, Georgia, and said, I need such and such amount of votes, they said, go kiss my butt, right? Oh, but when he called in to Texas, oh, hold on, let us go find you 5 seats. This is a sham. This is taking away people's voting rights. This is taking away people's voices. That combined to what he's trying to do with the census reports, this is all a sham for the next rig in order to rig the next elections in 2 years. We are only 6 months in, people. 6 months in. So how dare they take away the people's voices by those who represent them? I'm proud of them. I'm so proud of these leaders. And I'm always saying, what y'all doing? Would y'all please stand up and do something? Well, they are. And I'm extremely happy for the states who accepted them in and said, come on here, because you are actually being taken care of. So I am watching this closely. And if you've noticed, in the 1,000 dodgeballs that we get every single day, you don't see this being talked about in the news very much at all. You got to go to your other side media outlet, which is TikTok, Instagram, all those places on the side that are reporting the truth, because otherwise they're not reporting it in the big outlets. Yeah.
May I?
Yes, you may.
Sorry,
100% agree. No. Well, I'm just going to co-sign on what you say. 100% agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. All of this is really just laying the groundwork for future debauchery. And this is why you have to watch this type of thing so closely. They have been trying to get away with as much as they can, and they're pushing the needle little by little to see how much they can get away with, right? And this is just the latest in these shenanigans. So I 100% agree. This is just trying or attempting to lay the groundwork for bigger things down the line. 100%, this is not how this works at all. At all. And it is refreshing, actually, to see lawmakers standing up to do something, because at some point you have to stand for something. You have to stop being afraid or stop being scared. I don't think people really, I think people are still in this state of denial as to the state of the US democracy and what could possibly happen. They see things like Nazi Germany. They see things like the regime in Venezuela. They see things in different parts of the world, in North Korea, and they think, oh, well, that's not us. That could never be us.
That's right.
But this is exactly how it started. It's these small things. And remember, all of these things, the people, well, with the exception of military coups, right?
Yes.
Let's take Germany and the Third Reich. They were elected in the first place. Remember? They didn't seize power through a military coup. They were elected in. So it starts this way. So they can easily have the excuse, well, this is what the people wanted.
And what they don't want, and they're fighting back, is these other states are saying, okay, since Texas is doing that, we are too. Governor Newsom is really standing up hard about this. It's like, okay, checkmate. You want to play chess? Well, I'm a checkmate. We're going to do the same thing. And there are other states that are lining up behind him. And it was very interesting, because if you truly look at California's map, you will see that there are a lot of really big red districts. And
Orange County, huge red district.
Oh, baby, I never felt so scared in my life.
Red
going
district.
Across that line of Los Angeles and Orange County, they'll be quick to call you the N-word, real quick with their little flags out there. I mean, everybody. And so one of the Republican areas, he tried to put in something that Newsom would put in, have the courts say that he can't redraw the districts. Well, Democrats really do outnumber them there, and the Democrats are backing him for the congressional maps of 2026.
Exactly. I think that this is what I think. As much, you can say what you want about Governor Newsom. He is not a perfect governor by any means, but he's also not to be played with. That's one thing that I think people need to see. And I think it's refreshing to see that, because the other more Democratic leaning states kind of need that leadership. This is what I've come to the realization of lately. People don't know how to function without leadership. Yeah. You can give them all the tools to do so on their own, but they still need somebody to say, press play. And the Democrats need somebody to say, press play. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Newsom is the perfect conductor in this, but he's one that's, oh, that's fine. I'll do it too. And because they see that California is willing to do it, they also feel, okay, we can back this. I mean, should it have taken that? No. But again, people don't function well without leadership. So I'm 100% with you, LaLa. I co-sign on everything you said.
And you know, it's just this is how we're going to have to fight back. We've talked about how we have to get down and dirty when they get down and dirty. All this wussy, ooh la la, hold hands, kumbaya does not work anymore. This is not the 50s. This is not the 60s. We are playing a different ball game, and they are throwing all the balls at one time. So if they're going to play dirty, then I'm sorry to say that so do we. They're doing the loopholes. We can too.
And in fact, I don't want to hold your hand because you don't wash it. So take your unwashed hand and go back to wherever you came from, because we don't want that. We don't want that type of debauchery. And the thing is, there's this whole, this is so interesting. For a group of people who claim to be as Christian as they are, they sure don't turn the other damn cheek at all. No. We are the ones that consistently turn the other cheek and, well, let's play by the rules. What rules? They've thrown them out the window. Therefore, you don't have to abide by them.
And they know that.
They know that. They know that. But they
Mhm,
also know
mhm.
that we're very worried about the people on the side of right.
Yes.
They know that the people on the side of right are very worried about image, very worried about how they look, very worried about everybody being friends and getting along, very worried about being one unit. And that never happens.
Mhm.
I've never seen a time in any leadership, world leadership, where everybody was on board. There's always some dissent.
Mhm.
Okay, well, too bad. You don't always get what you want. This is not Burger King. You cannot have it your way all the time.
You know, it's going to be very interesting how they're going to end up pulling Musk back into this. I think Musk has gotten really quiet, but he still has an active role in all of this. It was so funny. An article came out today saying that he's the most hated man in America. No, he's number two. He's number two. Don't get it twisted. But I also feel that he is still getting rewarded so much with so many different things, like getting that free land in Tennessee that Brothers Johnson's came out and talked about, wasn't even voted on. So there is some shenanigans and shadow work going on behind the curtains that we don't know about either. Musk knows, and he's already admitted that he's the one who helped put this in the office. And I'm curious to know, with all these people going into these states saying, we need to see your voting machines, that is so out in the open. We know that. We know that Texas already has theirs set up. You ain't even got to tell me that they don't. We know. So
because they can't win any other way. This is the thing. They cannot win through legitimate means. They never could. They don't have the savvy. They don't have the smarts. They don't have the political know-how to win legitimately. And so they have to, and I still blame you, Shonda Rhimes, for writing this with your pen into existence on Scandal. This is an episode that actually
manifested this, did she not?
Listen, Shonda, you manifested this, so you have to take some of the blame for this. You and that pen of yours. But I love Shonda Rhimes, honestly. But they don't have what it takes to actually run things properly because they didn't get here through merit. None of them are meritocratic at all. They are beneath merit, subhuman.
Yes.
Therefore, they don't have what it takes to run things properly because they didn't get here on merit. And so now, because you didn't get here on merit, you now need to employ tricks to keep your position because you can't do it legitimately because you don't know how. It's actually quite a sad state of affairs if you think about it. The fact that you are so inept and bereft that you can't do what your job is. So you have to rely on tricks and debauchery to stay in power. That is so sad.
Yes. Yes,
I would be embarrassed if I were you.
But that's the thing. They have no shame in their game because when you are
right.
evil, you don't. When you have evil running through your veins, it doesn't. You don't even have a good bone in your body. All you want to do is stay in power and win. So they don't have that type of consciousness about them. They just know that they need to be on top, no matter what they have to do to get there.
I agree.
Let's catch up on some comments, and I want I have some further questions to ask both you ladies. But number one fan, Jen Meyer, says hello, everyone.
Hey, Jen.
Says, hello, Jen. Enlightened Being says Abbott is a serious pawn. We the people. Regina said, after hearing Mike Flood's town hall, I see a lot of Americans catching on. Vote them all out. Did any of you see his town hall?
I did not.
I watched a little.
I did not.
People not happy.
No, baby. And that's why they try to make sure that people can't come to them no more. They be trying to arrest them before
they don't have them at all.
Yes. But they're talking they don't have them.
Again, that is a tool because you cannot win legitimately. So not only can you not win legitimately, not only do you not know how to run things, you know how unhappy people are with things. You understand why else would they block you? Why else would they have blocked our good friend in Tennessee from getting into a public meeting at an airport? Why else? Because they know they're about to play games. And they sit there and lie. Wow, somebody needs to read the Bible. Somebody needs some good Bible study because they haven't had any in a long time.
Well, you know, they're going to get the ones that Trump put out.
All right. I'm going to move on. If you're watching this live on the replay, Dr. Tachi's side eye was priceless. Let me go further. Jen Meyer says, doing well, Dr. Vibe. Hope you are as well. And good to see Dr. Tachi. Regina loves the line, "This is not Burger King, LOL." That's a mic drop right there. The Wallamala says, Musk is almost too quiet. Well, you know what? I heard that he has donated money to a 47 super PAC, though, or some sort of.
He is.
He does, yeah. And producer Matt says, is Musk still on play? I thought he was out of the picture now that he and 47 had that feud.
Feud.
Yeah, right.
All right. Regina knows we know Musk has a copy of the Epstein's files.
You
Regina
know good
says,
and damn well he does.
Gave the game away months ago. And then Enlightened Beings goes, who? So much to keep up on.
And you know, there's a lot to keep up with, but I have to put this out there to all of you: protect your peace.
Yes.
Don't get so caught up in this that it prevents you from even moving, from making a move. You need to know. We all need to know. But my thing is always, I need to know just enough for when I need to run. That is always my thing, because I need to protect my peace. And people consistently will send me things because, yeah, I am a journalist, but I don't want to read horrific things every day. And so I end up just ignoring it and paying attention to what I need. And this is why I report on media, tech, and pop culture news and not hard news. I've done hard news, but I already know that it can take, it is an energy. It's an energy usurper, right? So protect your peace.
All right.
Which is exactly what I'm doing.
Yes.
I prepare for this show and then I take my peace time.
There you go. Regina says, Justin Jones is my hero. He kept pushing to find why he was locked out of the meeting. And Enlightened Being says, Musk claims we need a new party. Mark Cuban jumped on it as well.
You know what? I agree. Well, I have to say that, first of all, we know the Republicans are deplorable. The Democrats are mice. So yeah. I don't know that I have hope for either one of them. But do I have hope for a new party? Not necessarily. I don't know what the answer is, but I can see where the thought process would come that there needs to be and there are already other parties, but they're not major parties.
No,
that there needs to be a third
can't even get a good voice, and they've been around the most stable.
Exactly. So you're forced, if you want to have a real voice, you are forced to be either one or the other, red or blue. And so that's why it is not effective for many people, or to be independent, because you can't vote during primaries. You can't, you can only vote during the major. So there are so many limitations with those types of things because they've really delineated with this two-party system. But I can see where people would say there would be another, but muskrats, no thanks.
All right. Before we, I have some more questions for both of you, but for those who jumped in and you are watching live, you have the opportunity now, if you want to express your takes live via audio. Go to callme.road.com, or you can scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. You'll come to a screen, it'll ask you to put in a code. The code is right there. Once you put that in, it'll ask for your name, and then you press the green button that says check, and I will see who's calling in here. If I don't know, you ain't gonna answer. But I'd love to have someone call today. We'd love to have someone call today. I was going to wait till Monday to debut this, but I said, okay, let me do it today, because this is the longest continuous running show I have hosted. This show has been on for a long time. Long time. So I just wanted to put it out there. So I I don't know, maybe I have to gamify, maybe next to give away a prize, but I'd love to see someone come on and discuss with the ladies and us here. But let me ask LaLa, especially probably yourself, for those who are not following the story closely, can you briefly explain what's at stake here?
Everything is at stake when it comes to the people's voices. When you take away the people's vote, you take away their power. If it wasn't that important, they wouldn't be trying to do it in the first place. This is time for you to really get active. Those of you who already feel like your vote doesn't count, I hope that you obviously see that if you did not vote in this last time around, although I still feel like it was rigged, and we know that it was, that this damage comes home to you immediately. We are in the 6th month of this presidency, and we have had so many of our rights taken away. We have watched people get stripped from just walking down the street, disappear, and we never hear from them. They are taking American citizens and sending them to other countries, and then washing their hands of it because now you're no longer in the country and you're no longer their problem. If you do not think that this is not going to hit your house, you are sadly mistaken. Look at how people are not even able to eat now. They now have a function where you can choose to buy now, pay later on groceries. So everyday life is affected about how you vote and what our census looks like and where that money goes. So your vote is way more powerful than you can possibly believe. And they are showing just how powerful that it is. Everything is at stake. Your civil liberties, your due process, you just being a human will be stripped immediately if you don't take action. In the smallest of ways is to do that by voting and making sure you have someone that is representing you where you live and work and play.
Well put, well put. So let me ask, from a civil rights perspective, what are the long-term implications of punishing lawmakers for breaking quorum?
We don't know yet. I don't think we know yet because we thought that we had processes. And correct me if I'm wrong, we thought that we had some kind of process where they could be prosecuted or people could vote them out. But when they are ahead of you with the gerrymandering and they're doing all of these things behind the scenes and not allowing you come to express yourself at the town halls or, none of that stuff is happening. How do you speak up and stop? Right now, they have all the cards. They're taking their basketball and going home if you don't play nice with them. So to me, I feel like we're in a gray area. We know what should happen, but we are seeing that it's not happening. And that's what's scary to me.
I think 100%. And I think what has to happen is this has to be a multi-pronged approach. This also really needs to be tied in economics because at the underbelly of all of this is economics. And so when we're seeing these types of things that are happening, well, who are the corporations and people that are giving money to these causes that are funding this type of, let's call it what it is, terrorism? Who are the people that are doing these types of and funding these actions? Those are the ones that,
And a lot of those, as many people that are speaking out, obviously there's a lot of them that know how to be quiet and still fund, or else we wouldn't be here.
True. But the thing is, there's always a paper trail somewhere. Somebody always, because and here's the thing, even though it seems very cliche, evil rarely wins because we can always, even if it seems to win in the short term, we see it crumbling because it takes too much time and energy to keep track of the lies and to cover up things for it to work. So it's and it is so much easier to be good and do right. Believe me. But so
I'm afraid that we're not going to see things get back on track in our lifetime. I'm 55 years old. I plan on living to be 100. I've had that conversation with the Lord above. Maybe he shall let me. But I think that they have undone things so fast and so quickly and so haphazardly that it's going to be very long time before we can even put things back to the right.
Well, you know what? I agree that it's going to, they are dismantled, but they're still in the process of dismantling. And they can only dismantle as long as it's allowed. And the thing that is allowing it is fear. People that are fearful. And it's not even the common everyday person. It's these billionaires and people that are on that don't want to cross them. That's where the fear is. But my dear, Dorothy, you had the power to go home all along. You have more power than the rest of us. And most of them see that this is wrong. So, but there you have the contingency that really only care about them and their pockets, and the contingency that are too afraid to open their mouth. Well, you can't be fearful. Money gives you a certain amount of power. So that's why I'm saying a lot of this is going to need to be economic. There are ways of finding out who does what. You follow the breadcrumbs, you follow the trail, and you're like, oh, it's you.
Maybe just ask Google, because ChatGPT let it all out, so we can see what these people are saying to ChatGPT and find that paper trail real easy.
ChatGPT will tell on your mother. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not safe. The thing is, they're not safe. We have an administration where they what is it, the panic room? They put the notes from that on, was it Telegram or Signal? One is Signal.
That's right, Signal.
Okay, so this is the type of age we're living in, where people have easy access to that type of stuff, and we're not dealing with bright individuals. As such, there are ways of finding out. So hit them economically, but it has to be enough people to really believe in that. You don't need what you need from Walmart. You think you do, you don't.
Target either.
I understand.
I'm willing to sit outside of Target and side eye every black person that walks in there. What you doing, bro? What you doing, sis? You're not supposed to be shopping here.
Exactly. And I want to say this, if you don't mind. So, I watch an awful lot of YouTube. I follow a lot of influencers and content creators. And there was one in particular that incensed me. And I really like her, but I was this far away from unfollowing her because of the stupidness. And this person is an attorney, so she should know better. And so she actually did a haul, and she showed a Target bag because she did her haul at Target. So, of course, people in the comments were like, sis, I'm sorry, I thought we were boycotting. And she actually got in the comments and said, listen, I'm tired of Black women always having to be the ones to sacrifice when it comes to things. Sweetheart, it's not a sacrifice.
That's right.
You're sacrificing us. When you continue to shop at places like that, you are sacrificing all of us. So let me just say this, and let it be said and be clear. You are a traitor if you continue to do things that are counter us. And by us, I mean anybody on the side of right.
Ditto.
Okay. Regina goes, did anyone catch the Andre Hernandez Romero interview? His depiction of how they survived, I'm going to say CSOT was unexpected and inspiring. These concentration camps are despicable. We are funding this terrorism.
I have not, but thank you for letting me know, because I will.
Yeah. I'm going to look this up.
Both you ladies, what parallels do you see between the current measures in Texas and the voter suppression tactics of Jim Crow or post-Reconstruction era?
That was the playbook for all of this, okay? That was the playbook for all of this. So this has been in play. I think the thing is, sometimes we think, oh, this is brand new. We've never seen this before. And it gets to me when people are like, this is not our country. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It has always been this, even if you don't want to believe it, but the systems have been set up for some people not to have to see the tragic underbelly of it. We've seen this.
Right.
So we know that this country is fully capable of pulling off things like this and doing things like this. We've always seen this. So that playbook was already been set. That's there. And even though there was legislation, you can't legislate hearts and minds. And all legislation is like a thread on a sweater. All you have to do is pull it and the whole damn thing unravels. And that's what's happening now.
Totally agree.
I totally agree, LaLa.
Yeah, I mean, it's a delicate thing. And that is a very good analogy, because if one string comes out of that sweater, you ain't got a sweater.
There you
It's
go.
gone.
It's
right.
like let me tell you, it's like this pair of, I had this pair of the Kimora Lee Simmons jeans in the early 2000s. I wore those things every time it was jean time. Those were the jeans because they fit so well. There was one string that I was like, oh, let me pull. The whole damn thing came apart because I had worn them so much. Granted, they're not like Levi's that hold up for hundreds of years, but I wore them and loved them that much that the one string was enough to let it all go. The US is like baby fat jeans.
All right. How might these political battles in Texas affect Black American communities directly?
Say that again, please.
How might this political battle in Texas affect Black American communities?
Oh, it affects us directly because that's the first people they going after of. They had, baby, they want everything but the struggle. Everything. They want us to have no rights. They would like to see us back in chains. As I recall, it wasn't too long ago, just a couple months ago, that somebody was talking to Mitch McConnell about bringing slavery back. And he said, I don't know if they'll get on board with that. And the guy said, oh, yes, they will, sir. Because as long as we get rid of the Hispanics from here, and then we arrest those undesirables, now we have the prisons that you have to go and work in. Bam, there's your slavery. Because we will go to those prisons and have those people work for free. These things are happening directly to our communities. You don't see them going after no damn white collar crime. All you got to do is be Black.
And, all of this is also, when we look at it from the enfranchisement point of view, the redistricting and all of these things, these are all things that are done to disenfranchise communities of color, even more specifically, Black communities. Again, because they know that Black communities are very vocal, they have lots to say, and they vote accordingly. And they don't want that, and they can't have that. And thus, redistrict, so it's, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Well, so that in that sense, it's directly affecting, because all of this is meant to disenfranchise Black voters, right? And then when you have that happen, there's going to start to be votes against things and policies that affect Black people. Now here's the thing. Anything that affects Black people affects everyone. I think people are dumb in saying, oh, well, this is just a Black issue, my friend. This affects you too. It doesn't matter. So anything that is voted on for anybody affects everyone.
Yes.
That's the way the system works, right? But if we look at specific things and we look at proportionately the numbers that need assistance when it comes to medical assistance, et cetera, and they're using programs like Medicaid, Medicare, et cetera, and you now redistricted, so you've got people that are going to vote counter to certain programs, it's going to affect, definitely. I have more to say about that, but I'll leave it.
You don't have to. You can say more if you wish.
Well, I will.
Thank you.
So, and it's probably not the most popular opinion, but this is why I think we all need to be like, well, just go to hell. We don't need you.
Right. All right.
But that also means that we have to have a level of self-sufficiency and less and more collectivism rather than the individualism that has been ingrained in us. The US is a very individualistic country. By nature, communities of color are not individualistic because we come from cultures that are collective, where the You succeed when the society succeeds, when the community succeeds. When you come into an individualistic culture, you start to adopt individualistic ways, which is what part of the problem is now, right? And by saying this doesn't mean that you don't have to pull your weight and that you don't, but when we're talking about a community, in a true community, everybody pulls their weight, right? So in order to say, please go to hell and take your kin with you, you have to be ready to be self-sufficient.
Yep.
Okay. Point taken. Point taken. Let me put it out there also. Do actions like this from state officials risk eroding trust in government among marginalized communities? Or it probably isn't at a high level. It's just probably just going to go down.
We didn't trust them to begin with.
That's right.
Well, you can't erode what wasn't there.
Exactly. But what's very interesting to me is every day I'm seeing more and more people who supported this for whatever reason they decided to be a blind eye person are now sorry that they've even put it into the system. There was a husband and wife in San Diego that was going camping, Hispanic couple. They've lived there all their lives. Like third generation Hispanics in California. They like to go camping. They went camping in San Diego and Border Patrol came and brought dogs and everything else and told them to get out of the truck. My man was like, we didn't do anything. I'm not getting out of the truck. And this is the first time I've ever been attacked by Border Patrol on this side of the soil. I'm an American citizen. And they gave him some bullshit reason on why they stopped him. But he went to the news about it. And then what did he say? What do they always say? She said, do you regret your vote for Trump? Yes. Yes, I do. Because this is ridiculous. Well, what did you think was going to happen? He told you who he was a long time ago. This is what I don't understand, why they act so surprised that this is happening, because he told us from the very beginning.
I'm sorry, I don't care.
Yeah,
Because what they want is for us to continue with the outpouring of sympathy that we always give. That
Yes.
I don't know anyone who always is huddles the huddle or tugs the huddled masses yearning to be free the way we do. So in this point, I'm sorry, I don't care. You also may board the 4:15 train to hell with the rest of them I just told.
Yes. Yes. And then they try to make you feel guilty about that. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not. There's no reason for me to feel guilty about that.
I don't feel guilty at all. Now, I am not for, again, nobody wants to see people suffer, because then you're just like them. These people in charge, they enjoy suffering. And nope, you're like them. But so we don't want to see people suffer. But what we're not going to do is continuously put ourselves on the line for people, number one, that don't care about us, who felt they were, and let's just be real about this. The reason they voted is because it is preferable to be white adjacent. And if I can't look non-melanated, at least I can behave in non-melanated ways by voting for who they vote for. I mean, there's no clearer example than here in South Florida. Which is why I'm always looking side-eye at people. I'm always really looking side-eye at them, because you vote for your own demise. And I cannot waste time feeling sorry or giving sympathy to people who were participants in their own demise. Agreed. I'm sorry. And that doesn't mean that it will not come for the rest of, I'm not saying that. But none of us, the rest of us, have not willingly voted for our own demise.
It's just another case of, they want their cake and eat it too. They want to cry when they want to cry, but they're the reason they're crying in the first place. They're their own cause for those tears.
Well, in the words of Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake.
All right. Enlightened Being says black and brown are always the target. And Regina says misogyny. I always get trouble
misogyny.
Misogyny.
Yeah.
I go to the Dr. Tachi dictionary, misogyny and racism 1. And so before we finish off this section, what gives either one of you hope in the fight to protect democracy and voting rights?
Well, I'm happy to see that there are many of the Democrats who are now like speaking up and doing what is right. That does give me hope. But unfortunately, that's all I got for you, because unless you put action behind your outrage, then nothing will be done. You can be, couch criers all you want to, keyboard cowards if you want to, but if you're not going to be a part of the solution, then surely don't be a part of the problem.
So your question was, what gives hope?
What gives you hope in regards to right now, a lot of the American public fighting for their democracy and voting rights?
So maybe I'm the wrong one to ask about.
Oh gosh!
for
Maybe
this
a
one.
question: do you have hope right now in the fight to protect democracy and voting rights?
If you're asking me today, I'm like indifferent as to whether or not there's a solution. But I do like to see. I was happy to see on No King's Day, the people that went out to protest. But guess what? It has to go beyond signs on the beach. It has to be real action. And you cannot ask the people who continuously fight for that. And I will say Black people, because everybody fights, but nobody fights like Black people, because we're inadvertently affected by this. So we felt, because nobody else is fighting, we have to do it, but we're tired and we're not doing it anymore. So I'm happy to see some people taking up the mantle, but it's not enough. I just see too many people on stuff. Oh, I don't know what to do. Well, don't ask me, because I've already decided I'm not helping you. So what are you going to do now?
Yeah, they really thought it was a game when we said the 92% was like, we'll sit back here and
it's
sip
not
our
a game.
tea. It's not a game. We meant that. And then they're outraged about it. Why aren't y'all doing anything? Well, we done did it all
because you're used to us always doing something.
That's
we
right.
always will do something. We will always hug huddled masses. We always are on the front lines. We use our bodies as shield for the world, for everybody, and we're tired of it. So if you're not willing to do it, please don't come to me with I'm getting a massage. So please don't come to me with any of your nonsense. Go out there and do something about it. It's just like with parents. After a while, you know how you have to let your kids fail so that they learn a lesson?
Yes.
We have to let democracy fall so that you'll actually get up and do something.
Exactly.
So I'm hearing a growing
more
number
than you want it. We cannot want it more than what you want for yourself.
Exactly.
I'm hearing more and more people slowly saying that this has to totally crumble for it to be built back correctly. So we'll see. We'll see. Regina says 47 sinking in the polls gives me hope. The effect of the latest tariffs is going to smack some sense in the American public in voting differently, if not for the right reasons. Well, I just saw something today saying that 47 says the courts back off of the tariffs, America's going to go into a recession. I think in some ways America's already in a recession, but that's a whole other conversation.
But let me share something with you, okay?
Okay.
You Canadians are freaking amazing, okay? I am from the land of bourbon and whiskey and horses.
Yes, from Kentucky, the land of bourbon and whiskey. Yes.
There have been 3 massive distilleries that are now filing for bankruptcy because they cannot sell to you anymore, because you guys are standing firm on saying, nope, we will drink our own, or we are not coming to Kentucky. And these are the people that voted in this regime. Kentucky is a red state, and worse, it's freaking Mitch McConnell turtleneck on top of all of that. So no, it's going to burn, because people are feeling it every single day. They think these tariffs are some joke, but the distilleries, they're telling you, no, we can't sell them.
And you know what? This is the interesting thing. When you look at the states, which are predominantly, in the South, and the red states that are really in support of what or at least, feared into doing, agreeing with him. These are the ones that don't produce anything. So when you talk about the distilleries, that's what they have. That's what Kentucky has. That's it. That and the Kentucky Derby. That's it.
And
When
half
you look at
of the United
Mississippi,
States don't even know about the Kentucky Derby, but they
exactly,
know about that bourbon and whiskey.
exactly. So then when you look at places like Mississippi, what do they have? What do you actually produce? Nothing.
Nothing.
So you already have nothing, and you're getting 100% of nothing taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
What does that leave you with? And this is why I'm like, everybody doesn't need to vote. We need a test or something. And I hate to sound elitist, but that's what got us into the thing. W.E.B. Du Bois had this whole theory of the talented 10th. You all remember that 10% of the population, of the African-American population, were going to be the ones to lift everyone out. Now, is that necessarily true? I don't know, because it is not so cut and dry. But I do agree with the fact that the masses, while grassroots is great, the masses are not going to be the ones to lift us out of this, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the 10% or the thinkers, the strategizers among us. Because whenever it came to great movements, it's never just been the masses. There's always been a 10% or talented 10th that has strategized to make things work.
Yes.
And then the masses came on. Does that make sense? So if we're looking at the masses, the people, if we look historically, it has never just been the masses. It has been strategized first, and then the masses signed on.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Okay. The Wallamala says, oof, they voted themselves into bankruptcy.
Good for them.
Sure did. Enjoy that while you can.
All right. Okay.
Chapter 11.
Before we move on to our next conversation topic, again, I will invite people. No one's been brave yet. To
be brave. Come on
in. Join the conversation. If you got a question or a take, or you just want to say hello to the ladies, either on your phone, tablet, laptop, desktop, put in callme.road.com and then use the code FSPL8L, which is all capital, or scan the QR code. It'll take you to callme.road.com. Complete your name, put out the code in, press the button. We'd love to have you share with us. All right. Our next conversation piece is, as I put it up here, if I can find it, Project Esther. LaLa, you wanted to chat about this. So let's hear you.
I am so over this. Let me tell you something, y'all. Brought to you by the same people who put out Project 2025.
The Heritage Foundation.
The Heritage Foundation. Good old Heritage Foundation that want to put the women back in the kitchen and the slaves back in the field. So let me give you just a tad bit of a summary of what it is. Project Esther is a Heritage Foundation blueprint. It's backed by Trump's allies as well, because they all fall into line. It claims that it is this is the claims that it's going to fight anti-sentiment. I can never say that word. Help me, Dr. Tachi. I can't say it.
Anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitic. See, I always got to get that hitch in there. Anti-Semitic, but actually works to actually criminalize and silence pro-Palestine activism. Mm-hmm. This is all going toward Israel. So by backing this and saying, any kind of criticism of Israel is terrorism, it's going to push for the deportations, the legal crackdowns, the defunding of anyone that has a voice against Israel. And it's less about protecting people, and it's more about dismantling free speech and academic freedom, because they're going after the school protesters. Because remember, let's face it, majority of the time when you're having protests, they're done on school grounds. So this is one of the reasons that Trump is attacking so many schools in the first place, because there is power in these protests. So what they're doing is making it illegal to even have a voice on how you feel about what is going on with Israel, with Gaza, and in the future, probably Israel and Iran. Anything that you're going to say against Israel now creates you as being a criminal that can be punished and look deported. Deported. Like I said, if you want to read all of this, you can go to the Heritage Foundation and type in Project Esther, and you will actually see what they wrote. So the main goals are this. They're going to target student groups, faculty and nonprofits, and activists who are critical of Israel. They're going to use immigration enforcement, RICO, a lot of people say RICO, or racketeering laws, defamation suits, and funding restrictions to punish individuals and institutions. This goes for papers, this goes for schools, this goes for businesses, anything that you do, frats, fraternities, anybody who's speaking out, you're also a target. It's going to pressure the universities and the media outlets, which they already have started with that. Look at what we're seeing already. Nobody's reporting too much about what's going on in Gaza and the genocide and takeover of these people. LaLa is finally speaking out, y'all. I've tried to be kind of quiet about this, but there becomes a time where if you don't speak out, you are being a part of the problem. You are taking out a whole country of people just because you do not like them. And you have a leader saying, finish it to another country so that they can take their land. So also they're putting pressure on corporations to cut ties with anything that has to do with pro-Palestinian voices. And they want to create a centralized government body to coordinate these effects across the agencies. So what does that mean, LaLa? Let me give you kind of an example. This is parallel to what they want to do. Now, you know, my forte is real estate, okay? I told you that HUD is working very closely with ICE. So HUD is going to report you if they think that you are an immigrant and that you are breaking the law and that you are using government funds, when actuality, you can't even use government funds if you don't have papers. But they are working very closely with ICE. So that is exactly what they're going to do across agencies with everything that they want to do. And Project Esther is it. So if there is someone over education in the Department of Education, and they feel like a university is way too pro-Palestine, they will take that money immediately. They will stop funding you. So you are no longer going to have a voice to even speak out about those injustices that are happening to other people in other countries. Yes, we have a problem in our country. Yes, that's my first and foremost. But by not speaking up for those who can't speak up for themselves and have been wiped out for no other reason than for power, then you have to speak up. You cannot be quiet. They are starting with this, but don't think that it will be the end, my love, because whatever they deem they don't want you to be against, you are now public enemy number one.
I think that people have to be aware and cognizant of the fact that they're being used. And all of this actually has nothing to do with Jewish people at all.
Amen.
So they're using you. So anybody that is on board and that they're using you, be aware of being used. And so I just wanted to bring this in terms of how they're trying to make themselves look like this shining beacon in democracy and saviorism. Not a word, but I'm making it. So if we look at, so this is named after Esther, Queen Esther in the Bible, right? And Queen Esther was a Jewish woman that lived in Persia and she became queen. And the whole thing is she saved her people, Jewish people, from a plot to exterminate them. Now, what does this sound like? Why do you think they named it Project
There you
Esther?
go.
So
They
they're
want
trying
everything
to,
biblical.
yes, that they're trying to take things to these biblical proportions. First of all, align themselves as Christians, which is a lie. Okay.
Yes.
Second of all, using Esther as a metaphor to justify what they're doing when they really don't care at all. We've already heard the Cheeto Satan Towers Gaza Strip talk, have we not?
That's
We've
right.
heard about resorts and things like so. Be aware, first of all, of when you're being used, and be aware when people are using things that are supposed to be sacred to justify what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So see, when one movement's rights are actually being stripped away from them, that's when the erosion starts to really spread. And this is when it starts endangering everybody's rights. As I recall, we have a right to pursue life and liberty, right? And we have our speeches, we have these things already set up. But what they want to do is make them to fit into their mold. Now, I'm a believer. Everybody knows I'm a believer. I've always told y'all that. Do I always walk the narrow way? Nope. I have to talk to Jesus every single day. But you cannot pretend that you are trying to be the good when you are walking in the mud yourself. And every day they prove that they are in the tar pits of hell. I don't know why they're not all the way up underneath there already. Because like I said, the demons in the pit of hell are looking down on them for what they're doing and have justification for what they're doing by claiming that they're walking in the light. So they would rather shackle your tongue, your every single right, put you back in those chains before you're allowed to say anything against them. We are beyond a danger zone. You know, at some point we were saying, oh my God, we're in the yellow danger wheels, danger wheel Robinson. No, baby, we in the nuclear siren area now, because you see how fast they have already done Project 2025. We're at 50%. So how fast do you think they're going to implement this, which is just the side piece to Project 2025?
Comment here from Enlightened Being saying, so we can't say the sun is hot if they say it's cheese.
Basically.
So I talked, someone brought this thought about this situation to me the other day, saying, how come Black people's rights aren't being defended?
Because
Are not being defended?
Are not being defended. Like, why don't Project 2025 have a Project Esther that applies to Black people, not just one specific culture?
Because they think they already got us, baby. We're not too far out of slavery. They have control over what they do a lot of times in our community. I'm not saying that this is a whole. Remember, we always say there's not always just one thing for every group. But look at the history of what they have done to our communities to make sure that they can keep us down. We are easy targets for them. Very easy. We get a great Wall Street. What do? They burn it down. We get a great community. What do? They flood it and make it Lake Lanier. What do we do in New York? We got a beautiful, thriving community. They make it Central Park. Okay, so they feel they already have us under the thumb. So they use different devices in different ways for other communities because they think they have us under lock and key. That's just my opinion.
So I think I want to understand a little bit better. You said, why do they not advocate for African American rights?
Yeah, someone brought this to me because I was saying
they
about this. Like,
who is the they?
Okay, why is there advocacy like this in government for African Americans, where you see right now they cut DEI, they do this, does this really show how much the current federal government doesn't value African Americans?
The government has never been never been the defender of the rights for. Listen, from the end of enslavement, which never really ended, it just transitioned into something else. From the end of enslavement, they were like, okay, well, let's get rid of them. Let's send them all back to Liberia and Sierra Leone. That did not work to a large extent. It worked a little bit, right? Because there are some descendants of enslaved Africans that went back to Liberia and Sierra Leone, but not on the whole, because there's still a large African American population, right? So, okay, we can't get rid of them. So we're just going to make life miserable for them. So from the inception, it was never intended for life to be good or for them to advocate for people of color in general, but particularly African Americans. That was never the intent. And so when you have a blueprint that does not include you, you can try and put in little things in here and there, but overall, you were never included in the conversation. That's why the government is not advocating. There's no advocacy because they weren't trying to have you in the first place.
That's right.
With how can I say, proposals like Project Esther and LaLa, how should Black Americans, African Americans feel when something like this looks like it's going to come through?
That's a hard one for me, Dr. Vibe, because first and foremost, we all are humans, period. Then we have our communities. Yes, I am a Black woman, but I'm also very much human. And when you come down to basic rights of just being a human, then I'm always going to be team human. I don't want my voice being taken away in my Black communities, but I also don't want that for other communities either, because you cannot claim to want something for yourself and oppress the other side from the same thing that you want. So you either stand up for right or you're wrong. You can't have it both ways. You cannot have your cake and eat it too and not expect it to come back to your house. You can't, like what did Malcolm X say? Your rooster's coming home to rest. You have to watch what you also put out so that rooster don't come back to rest on what you've wished on other people. This is why I also feel at some point, and we've seen it in history because we're repeating it, is that those who are putting out these things, these Republicans, these Project 2025ers, these Christian nationalists, what you are putting out, my baby, I don't want to actually see what's going to come back on you tenfold. It's going to be frightening to watch. Will I kind of be happy about it? I ain't gonna lie. I might get a little popcorn and sit down and watch it. But for the most part, you cannot put out something like this and not expect it to come back and burn your own home in some type of way. So it's hard for me to say just for the Black community because we are human.
I agree. And I think we've always had that concept that we are humans first because of the way, all you have to do is look at the way we've carried ourselves and look at the way that we've always advocated for other communities. So we realize there is humanity first. It's just that, we're fed up now for nobody, and so we're like, oh, okay. We see what the game is. Maybe it took a long time, but we're done, right? But we have always, I think, taken a human first stance because we know how terrible people can be toward us. And we never would wish that on other people. But I think a good movie for these individuals to watch would be The Color Purple.
Oh, yeah.
Because until you do right by me, everything you touch is going to crumble. That wasn't just a line. That's right. A mantra.
Okay.
Celie said it.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see where Project Esther ends up as we go down the road. All right, let's do another conversation piece. And we talked about it briefly at the tail end of our last conversation, but Kamala Harris says she's not running for office again because the system is broken and not as strong as it needs to be. Ladies, before you comment, hopefully this will be something that someone will call in and give their comments. Regina, I'm thinking of you. So please,
I'm waiting for Regina to come.
Or if you're watching live, on their laptop, desktop, tablet, or whatever, your cell phone. Put in callme.road.com or scan the QR code. You'll get a screen. It'll ask you for the code. Put in the code, put in your name, press join call. We'd love to hear from you. So I'm putting a challenge out to Regina to call in on that. So ladies, your thoughts. I heard a yay from
Yes.
LaLa.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Who
LaLa.
wants to put themselves through that again when you know damn well she won? Everything is coming out and absolutely sure. And who wants to go through that madness again of the pressure of constant people putting you down? We watched it even with the First Lady, Michelle Obama. If they don't like you, they don't like you. Can you imagine the mental pressure that comes with that? Can you imagine the energy that they have to watch them go through all of these things of going out on the campaign trail, raising money, all these things, and only to be beaten because you are a Black woman? And all this stems from how dare you have a Black man in the White House. So this is not something that I am sad about. In fact, I hope that she enjoys her time. You know what? Go enjoy yourself. I'm going to read your book. I'm still going to support you in whatever you do because you served us well. Let's not forget that she was vice president. That is nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at all. So I am extremely glad that she said, you know, I'm done. I'm ready to go home and enjoy my life. Do it.
I think that it was, first of all, very service-minded. She's been a public servant her entire career. From the time that she finished law school and even before that, she has been a public servant because she's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. If you are a member of the D9, you are serving the public, you are serving the community. So since college, she has been, and even before that, I'm sure, but definitely since college, she has been a public servant. So her entire career has been of service to the state of California, to the United States, right? And beyond. And what continuing to ask her to put herself on the line for people who don't care anyway, it's completely, it's disrespectful.
Yes.
And frankly, lazy.
Yes.
She does not have to be the one to lead us out of Canaan. She does not have to be the one to lead us to the promised land, right? And she should not be the one because she's done enough. What has happened is, and particularly, and we have to say it, particularly when it comes to Black women, there's this expectation because we're the nurturers, because we get things done. Look at what happened when she's announced she was running. When would Black women say, oh, okay, and we raised what, like $1 million plus, like in one night?
Yes.
Because we knew it had to get done and nobody else was going to do it. Then everybody else followed suit. But this shouldn't always be the way. And that's why the 92% are saying, no, we're tired. And she's part of that 92%. Allow people to rest and let everybody else do something for once. For once, stop putting it on the people who already are oppressed, who already have a lot of challenges ahead of them, and not even just in terms of society, but within the family unit. Black women are usually the ones taking care of children. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Do I have permission to interrupt?
Yeah. Do we have a guest?
We have our first official caller. Caller, are you there? I don't hear him. Do you hear me, caller? Caller, are you there? Okay. Oh, hold on. Well, didn't sound. Well, call in again, the person who was calling in, but continue, Dr. Tachi.
Yes. So I was saying that we already take on the brunt of the responsibility when it comes to the family, when it comes to serving the community and doing things. I can't tell you how, and we all see this, but I can tell you as a member of Delta Sigma Theta, these women are leaders within Delta and doing things within Delta, but then they're also leaders in their churches. They are also high positions at their workplaces. They're leading all these committees. And I'm like, you all are not tired? Yeah. You're tired. So now what people want is, on top of all of this, save us, oh great one, oh great and powerful us. No, save yourselves. So she is not, in fact, I'm telling you, Kamala Harris, to sit down. Don't do anything, because it's about time that other people took up the mantle and did something. You've done more than enough. You ran when you didn't need to, ran for president when you didn't have to.
And did it well. Broke all sorts of records.
And 100, she only had 100 days.
That's right. People like to choose to ignore that. That is an absolutely amazing feat that she did. And us as a community as well. I'm not going to say that we didn't help that. We rallied the troops and we did what we were supposed to do. But that is unheard of. And it scared the shit out of them people. You see, Trump and them just started shaking in their boots. You could literally see them melting down. Like it was the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm melting. They couldn't handle it because we always bring our Black excellence with us. Don't tell me we don't.
Yeah, that, and then the energy. All we have to do is look at the difference in energy between the two national conventions, the Republican National Convention and then the Democratic National Convention, which was like a party, right? There was an invigoration because people did not want it to win again.
Okay. When both of you heard initially about this, were you surprised?
No.
Okay. Do you think she may change her mind?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Interesting.
I'll go knock on her door and sit her down myself. No, ma'am.
Exactly.
I think you have a little bit of heat stroke, madam, and let's have a seat.
But she is so talented in so many other ways that honestly, her best service, if she's always going to be a public servant. She doesn't need to be a public servant as the president of the United States.
I think we have a test. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, sir?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear that voice, ladies?
Ryan!
Yes.
That is Ryan Knight.
Yes.
Hey.
Ryan Knight. Well, so Ryan is my co-host on the Morning Vibe Monday and Friday mornings on whatever you're watching this on. So Ryan, thank you for being the first caller on our live live. You have comments for the ladies. Go ahead.
I do, and long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, there we go.
First caller.
I wanted to ask, if not Kamala, who? Like, what is? And I'm sure maybe she's done a lot, but I haven't seen it, to bring up the next to replace her. She had only 100 days, 102 days. What would have happened if we leaned into this next 4 years and rallied a proper campaign? Like, couldn't she be the next in line instead of stepping away?
That's not her job.
No,
that's not her job.
Well, she put up her hand for the job.
No,
so
she was
doing 100 days and not get in. Now, why not put a full 4 years behind her? She's not old.
She was tapped for the job. She wasn't intending to do that. She was going to stay as vice president. It was only because Biden stepped down that now, all right, well, she's the next logical choice that people could probably get behind. So, but that wasn't necessarily her intention, I'm sure, to at this point run for president. And, you know, we could ask the same question. Why not somebody else who has the qualifications to, for once, do something and not ask this Black woman who's clearly tired to do something else? Let's stop.
But who has her qualifications, though? She's
there are other
quite
people.
unique.
There are other people who have her qualifications, or who
She's
could
not the only
definitely
one.
come close. All we have to do is probably look at some people in the Congress or the Senate who are on the side of right, who could probably take up the mantle, who have been senators and congresspeople for years at this point and are probably ready for that transition. And she's not the only one. What we need to stop doing is expecting Black women to save everybody. And that's what this would be. Another case of, please save us. Don't save us. We need to save ourselves.
I'm thinking we have to look at who has the best chance to win. And if what she did in the 100 days got her that close to try and put somebody else in from scratch who wasn't a previous vice president, wasn't a previous like she has next. And remember, she did run for the Democratic primary, so she did want to run for president, or she did run and didn't make it through, and Biden got elected in. So it was a job that she wanted. I feel this is the closest that she would ever be, and with a full push, with 4 years behind her, under her wings, who else would be at her level to run in the Democratic Party? Like, who are they relying on?
I think you need to understand a little bit about how America works. Let's pull out Hillary Clinton. Okay. We need to go back to Hillary Clinton as well. I know that Hillary Clinton is not a Black woman. All right, but she's still a woman. And she too clearly was one who could have won. Once again, we had all sorts of interference with the voting and everything else. And what was the main reason that even some Black Democrats were saying they didn't want to vote for her? Why? Because she's a woman. So we have proven over and over that we may not see a woman, period, in office, not less alone a Black woman. And the thing is, listen, it was clearly rigged. We know this, and she knows it too. They all know it. But why on earth would we put that back on her shoulders when she's already been through it before and she no longer desires that? Women have a right to change their mind. Maybe at one point she did want to do that, but she now sees all the workings that were behind it and everything that it has put on her shoulder and has caused her mentally. It is not fair for us to try to put her in a place that she doesn't want to be. And here's another example for you. They keep calling for Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama has told y'all from the very beginning, I don't want this. I didn't want it.
Right.
When my husband was in it, I supported my husband in doing it because I am the wife. We talked about this as a family. This is what we chose as a family, and I went along with it. But you are not just going to put her in a position that she doesn't want to be in. When you're already in that mental capacity, how well do you think that they will be able to serve if it's not something that they wanted to do in the first place? It's time for someone else to pick up the mantle and carry that through.
I don't disagree with that part, but I just say the Democrats have slim pickings when you look at who is in line to take over. And when a person of that stature steps back, that actually hurts the party. And by all means, she can change her mind. It's her choice. But did she groom the next behind her? Like, who?
That's not her job to groom the next behind her. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But again, what's happening here is you are making this her job. That is not her job to groom the next. She was the VP. That's not her job to do that. There are other people there. And let's not forget that Senator Obama was Senator Obama when he became president. So you don't necessarily have to be VP in order to do that. Now, this is not to take away from her accolades of what she's accomplished, but it does not have to be her. And I think it's frankly selfish to expect it to be her, and it gets people off the hook again, where the Democratic Party doesn't have to do the work because Black women will do the work of saving them. It's the same thing asking about Michelle Obama. The hell? Leave us alone. It is time for other people to do the work. It's very simple. It is that simple.
I know who I would like, but I know that the country would reject it.
Who?
You know I'm going for Jasmine Crockett. I love me some Jasmine Crockett all day, all along.
Jasmine is amazing if that's what you
Man,
want to do.
Okay,
if
all right.
want
So here's the question: who is a more, and I think where Ryan's coming from, not he's saying winnable right now.
we don't have anyone right now, and it's
Okay.
because why?
The problem.
Because we're too busy fighting all the dodgeballs. So at this point, people are asking way too early when you don't even really know what are in people's minds. We always talk about doing things in secret, and honestly, I think a lot of the times when you say things like that, there is a collective of people who are thinking the exact same. We need to be like, right now we need to do things in silence. You know, we don't want to put someone out there so early in the game that will be to their detriment as well.
Agreed.
I'm not looking for that to happen because that's just way too much time to deconstruct, to tear down, to put false things out there. Like we know the Epstein thing been redacted and all that stuff. Okay, so that just gives them more power to do that. So I'm perfectly fine with waiting right now to see what we're going to do. And then if I feel that that's something that I can get behind, I will get behind it 1000%.
In fact, I don't even think we need to know at this point. Move in complete silence.
Yes.
We don't need to know.
Well,
I'm not saying don't be transparent.
do, right? That's a Republican.
That's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do. Keep them guessing about the next move.
Okay.
Trump's base was not in silence. As soon as he lost, the campaign for the next presidency began. Now we're saying for the Democrats to move in silence, but we need to rally people around a common goal and know who's leading the fight. If people are looking around still wondering who is going to lead us, that's why the Democrats would show up weak, because the Republicans are very organized in who they're going to back and how they're going to attack.
So Ryan, if I have your permission to interrupt and ask all three of you, what's more important, right? I think what the Democrats have to do is rally and have a platform before they actually pick somebody. Because right now, LaLa, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying they're all over the place. Plus, right now, their poll ratings are so low because people want them to stand up for something.
Right, but I'm going to tell you, we are tired. We're tired. I
agree with there's a sign of tiredness, but
the war and wage rage is on. It's great that we're tired, but we still have to strategize. Like Project 2025, I'm sure that took a long time to get into place, but they kept fighting. And when things didn't go their way, by all means, we burn out. But that can't be an excuse that Democrats use.
Right. No, that's Ryan. I hear you. But I'm like, who is this we? You live in Canada. And that doesn't mean that you don't have
I don't want to see chaos.
No, exactly.
And that's where I'm not for Democrats or Republicans. I'm for.
Well, hello?
In Canada. And so we have to pay attention.
You absolutely have to pay attention, but you also have to realize that because you don't live here directly, you are not getting the direct effects. What Canada is going to get are the indirect effects of what's happening. And the people who live here on a daily basis will get the direct effects. So speaking again to the thing of Black women and why Kamala, could be a good choice, but she doesn't want to. Let's leave it at that. And it's not her job to do so. And for the world to force us to do things we don't want to do, Black women are not going to be the mules of the world anymore. Let somebody else do it. And I'm saying that as somebody who lives here, who you can't force us to do what we don't want to do. There are other people who are, just as adept, who could probably do the thing. And I understand what you're saying about winnable, but that's not our problem. Sometimes you have to let democracy fall for people to get the point. We're not going to pick up the pieces again and put it back together with glue like we always do. Let somebody else do it. And if that means Canada feels effect, then Canada feels effects. Next time, maybe
Right, but
people will be more
people on the
prudent in their
battlefield would
choices.
never accept that. Like that's
What happened?
something where people on the battlefield would never accept that we're gonna lay down and lose to let them feel it. You know, Jamaicans say
Then
like,
let
"Oh,
them
feel
fight
it makes
harder.
us feel."
Then let them
But
fight
that's what I'm
harder. It's
saying.
not our
So
fight.
who's at the front line? If it's not Kamala, then who? Who are we rallying behind? Who
Well,
can
this
win?
is what we just said.
What is
This
the
is what we
strategy?
just said. There is not a who that we know of yet, and we probably don't need to know that who yet because it's too early in the game. That gives the other side a perfect chance to tear down and denigrate before the race even starts. So I think it's too early, as you all were saying, for that. And it's Ryan, it's not Kamala. That's it. It's not gonna be her. I'm sorry.
There is a point to be
And
made
that's
that the more time that the Republicans have to strategize against someone, the less advantage the Democrats have. Like they when, and I think LaLa, you had said this, that when Kamala was nominated, it threw a major curve into the Republicans, and the debate is whether 47 won failure or not. It was a tight race. So I think people have to be careful on when it's announced. If someone's announced in the near future, not too far away, that person has to be, I agree, Ryan, really established, firm your ground. To me, the only person that maybe, if you want to announce right now, maybe would be Newsom right now. And I'm saying maybe. I'm not saying he's the right person. But
listen, I've always told y'all, Newsom is not always my number one person. He's never been my number one person. But I've also been very honest in telling you guys that there is no president, no vice president, no governor, no mayor, no councilman that I'm always going to be 100% agreeing with. At some point you disagree, and sometimes you're like, well, you gotta leave that fight alone. You pick your battles. But you know what? At this point, if he was to throw his hat in the ring, I think we would have a good chance. But I don't want anybody announcing anything right now. I just don't. I'm exhausted. Ryan, you're making good points, but let me tell you something. We cannot be continually on some campaign trail when we have other businesses that we must take care of in this country that is falling and taking our rights away. You have to pick your battles and fight them accordingly. Not everyone fights the same way. We pick up our banner on those that we can fight the best on. And so for me, my battle isn't trying to pick the next person who's going to be in line. My battle is to keep people informed and to do whatever I can with my boots on the ground and support those who are helping to keep our liberties safe. So for me, I'm not even thinking about who's going to be in line, because to me, I can't worry about that. I need to worry about what's happening in Texas. I need to worry about my rights being taken away as a woman, and these type of things that we are fighting every single day.
Black woman.
Yes. And
right.
And just for a side note, Henrietta Locke's family.
Thank you for letting me call in. I'm gonna listen.
All right. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for being the first caller. And
cheers,
we'll
Ryan.
See you on Monday when you can tell people can call in. All right. Oh, he's gone off the line. All right. So there you go. So people, it works. Hello. There we go.
Yay. No, that's awesome.
All right, good stuff.
I love that. Here. That brings a great element.
That was good.
There you go. Enlightened Being says, I'm glad she is not. Good for her. Thank you for your service to our country, ma'am. Regina goes, why should Harris have to put up with a messenger? I always get this word.
Misogynoir.
Misogynoir. I'm going to have you every time this word comes, I got to get a hold of Dr. Tachi in the country. Magats calling Michelle, quote, Big Mike, unquote, or calling Kamala stupid. Now they're trying to erase Jasmine's district.
Yeah, because she wouldn't be if with their redrawn lines, she wouldn't be living in the district that she represents.
There you go. And then Regina goes, let Newsom run as a Democratic candidate. Like him or not, he is standing up to 47. So there you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to really put this into perspective. It's the same argument that we get when, you know, you hear that people are leaving the US for other places. And this has been for a while. I mean, even more now, but it's been for a while because of cost of living and things. And then you get people that say, well, you should stay here and fight and make. Why? Because all that's going to happen when you go out of your mind is, oh, wow, that person was a great fighter. And next one, people don't care.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to care. And other people generally don't care about our well-being anyway.
Mhm.
So why am I going to continue to put myself and my body on the line for people who could give near two damns about my well-being? I'm not.
Exactly.
And so for people who say, you know what, I'm done, I'm out, I'm moving to Thailand, go. If that's what is going to work for you, do it. Because
listen, baby, we get one life, and I'm not spending my whole life on politics.
Yeah, well, some people would say, why would you stick around with something that's not serving you?
Exactly. But the thing is, people expect that when it comes to country. They expect you to stay and deal with whatever rubbish is doled out. And the reality is you don't have to, because even though you're part of a collective, you're also an individual, and you deserve to live a good life, regardless of who you are, with the exception of a few people. Anyway.
All right. So ladies, we did it. One down. It's all uphill after that. So thank you so much for taking part in this. So our last conversation piece, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting says it's shutting down. Also, the BET Hip Hop Awards and Soul Train Music Awards will not return for the foreseeable future. And I especially we again mentioned this in the tail end of the last conversation. And I knew Dr. Tachi was going to be here today. So if you're not watching this on live or replay, she already has her hand up. Dr. Tachi, the floor is yours. And I will also say, if anyone, again, wants to call in because you see it works, thank you, family, it works, we can have your takes on it. But Dr. Tachi, the floor is yours because I know you got some things to say.
Absolutely. I think this is very interesting. So let's start with CPB, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. I grew up on public broadcasting show. So the Corporation of Public Broadcasting is a quasi-governmental organization or department that funds things like NPR, etc. So NPR and PBS are not completely funded by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, but they get a large part of it from there. Okay. So just to clarify for people who think that PBS and NPR are government agencies, they are not. They get funding from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. And that's how that works. And so what has happened is because they get so much of their funding from CPB, now the cutting of that funding is cutting into their budgets, and people have to be let go, and they really are essentially going to be shutting down, right? However, you have things, aspects of things that will still stay. So, for example, NPR, Tiny Desk Concerts, that thing really funds itself, right? So they're not going to be as beholden to some of the other ends of what happens on NPR, right? That have more direct funding from CPB, those types of things. I'll say this, one way that you can solve this, and they already do a lot of this, they do their pledge drives where they ask people to contribute to become monthly members. So I'll say this, if you value the programming that you get from PBS, your local PBS stations, and from your local NPR affiliates, then go ahead and support them. Support them. It really doesn't cost very much. If you listen, because all these years, think about it, you've been listening for free. You've been watching Sesame Street for free. Your kids have. You are all these things, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, everything that is on PBS, the children's programming, you've been watching it for free. So now that it's under attack and they've done such a great service to society by helping to educate not only our children, but us with great shows like Nova. I sound like I'm doing a pledge drive, but sounds great shows like Nova, wonderful shows like Rick Steves Europe, and taking us to places so we feel like we're there. I think the very least we could do is pull together and support. If this is what we say we value, and an enlightened and an elevated society puts the arts and education front and center. We are not barbarians, or at least we purport not to be barbarians, which is why the arts and things like this should be front and center. We already know why they're trying to do this, because art speaks truth to power, and they don't like that. So get rid of it. That's what happens in authoritarian regimes. So that's why this is happening. And they think by pulling the money rug from under the feet of PBS, this is how they can get you. But they can't, because it's not a government agency. They can't shut it down unless we shut it down. So if we say we support it, let's support it.
But that's the problem
go
with
ahead.
America, and I really hate to say this because I see it, especially in the musician arena of entertainment. People in America they say they love the arts. They love everything that has to do with being creative, but then they turn around and ask you, what is your day job? What do you really do? You cannot be an artist and expect in America that you're going to be able to support yourself. That's a very slim percentage of people who can. But this is when you see places like, Europe, who really do support the artists. Dutch and all those. Oh, you're an artist. Okay, you get this. You get credit for this. You get that. This, you're not looked at with a side eye like you're doing some side job. So my thing is, those who are complaining, because I will tell you, I'm a patron of PBS. I always have been, NPR as well, because I grew up with them. I love them. I love what they put out. And baby, I am a zoom, and a Sesame Street girl. I still watch it every day. Love Electric Company. And I still think that program is very important, especially now since they're tearing down the schools, because that's one of the only places that kids are going to learn something and learn about compassion. So if you say that you are the lover of these things, then open your wallet, because honestly, a lot of times they're not really asking you for hundreds of dollars. They're happy if you can send in 10. And everybody cannot buy a Starbucks coffee and send in $10. So let's be very clear. If you really want it and you are truly sad about what is happening, then make sure you get behind it. Like I said, everybody doesn't jump on every bandwagon. This one is one of my bandwagons that I support. This is one that I can pick up the banner on and carry on and hope that it continues for the next generation. But let's also not forget why. One of the reasons that Trump is going after this, because why? They made fun of him on Sesame Street. They made a puppet of him doing the skit of, you're fired, The Apprentice, that anything that you do against him that makes him look silly, or he sees it as non-flattering, or you're not raising him up to the God that he thinks that he is on his pedestal, then you are the one to be punished. I'm just waiting for him to do something against South Park, but I know darn well South Park ain't going to back down.
South Park does not care.
Nope, they do not care. So let's be very clear and very open about, he goes after those who have gone after him so that he can exude his power. And he also wants to make sure, like I said, he wants to stay on that pedal of godliness, which he is not. So so support PBS, please, and NPR. Absolutely. Because they do report the truth to you, and they are really taking care of our babies.
One other thing that I want to add about that, or two other things that I want to add about that. Another thing is because Sesame Street is diverse. They were built on diversity. For those of you who don't know, Sesame Street was developed because there was they wanted to be able to speak to Black and brown youth and teach them in a way that would be fruitful. Why do you think that the stoops on Sesame Street look like they're in Washington Heights, right? Or in Harlem or something? There's a reason for that, and why there were so many, there's such a diverse cast there. and that's another thing that they don't like. They are anti-diversity, anti-DEI, and Sesame Street hits all of those things, and they don't like that. So that's one thing. I think also this will be a wake-up call for them, and this will be a wake-up call for a lot of nonprofit organizations. The fact that you cannot rely on any government to fund you.
That's
because at their whim and at their pleasure, they can pull the funding and then you're left with nothing. So it is to your advantage to, I think, honestly, this is going to be the beginning of the end for nonprofits anyway. There's going to have to start to be a melding of for-profit with what you do. You need to have merch, just like Sesame Street does.
Yes.
An awful lot of money off of merchandise because of what they do. They've got Sesame Place, the theme parks. So they've got a lot of things. This is going to have to be what the lot in life is for nonprofit organizations. That's everyone. So we do need to give, but nonprofits also have to start to remember that they are businesses. And you need to start to run yourself accordingly, like a business. If you don't know how to do that, because a lot of them don't, they've only been used to asking for money to run, then you need to get some training in how to become a true business. Okay, they've already taken away your money, so tax status is neither here nor there. So fund yourselves. Fund yourselves. This is where we've come. We can't depend on them. They've already shown they are not to be trusted, and we can't depend on you.
That's right.
So you want to talk about BET?
Yeah, I'll just interject for a bit. The whole thing about NPR and all that. Yeah, sustainability. I appreciate the network too. I'd love someone to come in with a huge infusion of cash, but I know that 47 will hit them. If a corporation came in and donated them a lot of money, 47 will find a way of hitting back at that corporation for doing it. So it has to come from the people.
It has to come from the people, and these corporations who are already making a lot of money. You have to stop being afraid. You're making a lot of money, albeit you're doing it probably through tax breaks and stuff too. But then you have to say, well, forget your tax breaks. I don't need you, because there are a lot of us who survive without tax breaks. Mm-hmm. Believe me, you can do the same thing. Stop being cowards.
Mm-hmm.
BET Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Music Awards will not return for the foreseeable future. Dr. Tachi?
I'm okay.
I'm good. I'm this ain't even a contingency for me right now. I haven't watched it. I'm 55, y'all. I haven't watched it since I've been in my 20s, unless Prince was performing. Anybody from the Prince camp, I was always supportive of that. But I'm sorry, I'm tired of seeing non-talented people being on these shows, and I just don't, and not the things that we need to see to be uplifting our communities, and so I have a problem with it, and so therefore I'm not really sorry. Now y'all can rerun the Soul Train show every week, and I'll be just fine with that. But those awards, they're not for me, and it doesn't represent the true artists that are out here.
Absolutely. And you, as a music person, you can attest to this. Any of these award shows, while it's great to be congratulated and thought about by your peers, that does not mean that that is the best product out there, and that there are not better songs, better shows, better plays that did not get awarded. So I think we've conflated worthiness with these award shows, and that's simply not right. Number two, award shows, the viewership has been going down consistently year over year if you look at this. And this is because a couple of things. It competes with a lot of other things out there. You don't have to watch it live because you can watch it on demand. Also, these shows have seemed to get longer and longer, and people are tired of watching celebrities congratulate themselves for 3 to 4 hours, when I'm like, no, I could just listen to the song and I only care about the red carpet show, right? So people only care about aspects of these things. What they do is they're like, They're going by the days of old where people were so enamored by celebrities. And I'm not saying they're not now, but far less to the point where we had less access to them. So they're so enamored by these celebrities that they said, oh, well, we could put this on TV and get sponsorship and we can make money doing this. Okay, well, when your ratings go down, it's less likely that you're going to want to get advertisers that are going to advertise next to this because it's not as many eyeballs. Although it's still a lot, it's not as many. And then finally, this also is probably a result of this anti-DEI,
Yes.
agenda by funding these things. So if you look at the companies that typically advertise during the BET Hip Hop Awards, which is an abomination, and then the Soul Train Awards, they probably are not re-upping, right? And these things cannot happen without that sponsorship because airtime is extremely expensive. And to what LaLa said, absolutely, nobody is checking for all these same people when you have some amazing talents that I've seen on places like TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube that are speaking to the pulse of what's happening. Yeah, they may not have that distribution, but they've got an engaged base. That's the thing. You talk to them, they can talk to you back. The big ones are not doing that. So,
and also, I want to be very clear. A lot of people don't talk about this, but let me tell you something. Payola, it has never gone away.
Never.
A lot of these artists are being funded. People are getting paid to be put on these lists. My husband has been on that Grammy pre-list more than once. But who knows Will Key compared to Kendrick Lamar? All right. Or someone who can help pay people to sway their vote. Payola is a huge part of this. So they are rigged anyway. A lot of times you go, well, why did they win that category? Well, maybe if you dug a little bit deeper, you would find out.
I think overall our audiences are tired as well.
I think another, if I can interrupt, with permission.
Yeah.
Another aspect was Paramount selling to, what's the name of the company that was?
Well, they merged with Skydance.
To Skydance, but the thing is,
and it hasn't. Go ahead.
It hasn't gone through, but there's another potential aspect on this. On these awards, a lot of times 47 was getting a lot of flack. So there could be just how Mr. Colbert has been canceled. Maybe that was part of the deal too, that any programming against me, 47's got to be cut.
Well, exactly. So that is the whole thing, the Paramount Skydance merger. This is the crux of things. So this is why I'm even surprised with South Park. I want to see what happens. Let's see whether or not this merger actually goes through for real, because the South Park thing is not pleasing. And so even though they said, oh, okay, well, we'll get rid of these awards on this show and we'll get rid of Colbert, but South Park is still a thorn in the side. So it remains to be seen whether or not this actually fully gets approved.
Be interesting, but it just seems that the media is bowing down at all things to 47.
Well, this is why you can't trust. I'm sorry. There are very few media outlets that are mainstream that you can trust now because they've all kowtowed.
I do not even look at them. I go to my media online where I know I am getting the truth.
Don Lemon, Joy Reid, they're all on YouTube now. They're not beholden to any of these large.
Midas Touch.
Midas Touch.
Midas Touch is now the #1 YouTube channel in America, surpassed Joe Rogan.
Well, and there's also other smaller people. I love all of those that you mentioned. I follow them. I support them. But there are also smaller journalists that I absolutely love. There's a gentleman by the name of Steve. in Seattle, who reports real news, who does
Mhm.
not mince words. And a lot of times he reports a lot of things that are going on in Seattle, but he has now started venturing out into the national arena. And he is a very, very good journalist. And he used to just be a cameraman, and he decided to just take the microphone and go ahead with it. Those are the ones that I know that I can trust. They don't really have an agenda other than to keep the people informed.
All
And
right.
this really quickly, one of the predictions, every year I'm generally in Ross Brand's 100 predictions about digital media. And so my prediction for this year, which I gave last year, was the rise of the citizen journalist using AI tools.
Yeah.
So I think we're already starting to see that, and the political situation necessitates
Yeah.
that the citizen become journalist.
So Regina says they said the 18 to 49 demographic viewership of the awards dropped by 50%. Ryan says Sesame Street greater than Starbucks. Yep. Regina also says there has been a surge in donations to public broadcasting in the past 2 weeks. And she also knows on the ground the merger was approved by FCC a few days ago.
Yes. However, we already know with this administration, none of that matters. If he decides that he's so offended by South Park and what has happened, he could easily pull it back, because we've seen that law does not mean anything to this administration. So even though the FCC approved the merger, I would not be surprised if things come into question because of this. They would have had to promise him the sun, the moon, and the stars, but South Park is that thorn in the side.
All right. Well, ladies, I think we've called it a wrap. So thank you so much for taking the time. This is amazing today, as always. One of the things I'm going to do right quick, if you're watching live on the YouTube channel, we would love you to rate today's show. So from 1 to 5, let me just make sure this thing is ready to go properly. Let me do a refresh here because I don't think it's refreshed. Let me reset it. I think it's ready to go. So there we go. So the votes are already coming in. There you go. From 1 to 5, rate today's conversation. 1, 5, out of bounds. So we already have some ratings already in. Yeah, people already given good ratings. So thank you so much. As always, I want to say thank you to any of the ladies that show up. Again, Aisha is not here today, but so in her absence, I'll give you her information. Instagram, AK Staggers, Medium, akstaggers.medium.com, Blue Sky, akstaggers.bsky.social, Friend O Media, friendomedia.com, and Substack at Aisha K. Staggers. Next up, the world of Dr. Tachi. How can people get a hold of the world of Dr. Tachi?
Well, as you see at the bottom, I am definitely Instagrammable. Yeah, you can slide into the DMs on Instagram and I will get back to you. Please check us out on YouTube, IndieSoup Media, at IndieSoup Media, just like that. And we're IndieSoup Media on all the social platforms. And you can also check out my personal YouTube, definitely at Dr._Tachi. So all of those handles work on every platform.
Wonderful. And incognito today, a lady called LaLa.
I've been holding on over here. All these buttons flying up talking about instability. I'm like, hold on, just hold on. Listen, you may not see my face today, but you sure can find me on all these social media platforms. And I made it easy for you because I know there's a lot that I do participate in. You can find all of my information at laurakey.net. I am actually doing a series to help you balance what's going on in the world, and it's called Finding Your Soul's Voice. And each week, I put out a video as well as a workbook, and it's about tapping into your life purpose and getting back to your happiness. So many of us start off with big dreams in our life. We had that beautiful childhood imagination, and then somewhere along life that flip switch made you think that you had to work in that corporation and put your dreams away. It's time to tap into what you are. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And so therefore you need to tap into your purpose. So go to laurakey.net, sign up. It is a free series. And each week you get a video, and it's based on The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
Oh, very nice.
I love
very
it.
nice. And yeah, check her out and also follow her on Substack too. All right. On everything that she's on. Myself, you can get a hold of me, the drvibeshow.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at the drvibeshow, X/Twitter at drvibeshow, email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. As mentioned a few moments ago, you can catch me on Substack too. A lot of replays of these conversations now are appearing on Substack, live and replay. So drvibe.substack.com/subscribe, and Blue Sky, drvibe.bsky.social, and TikTok at the dr.vibeshow. As always, I want to thank everyone who jumped in today alive. Regina says, thanks, ladies, for being so brilliant yet again. I want to thank everyone who watched or listened to this live on the replay. And also special thanks for Ryan Knight to be our first live caller today. So I was waiting, and there he was driving. So people, you know it exists now. So we want you to take advantage of it. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes that gets smaller and stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. And as always, make it better. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith. Walk good. And we'll catch you soon. And thanks, producer Matt, again.
To understand how afraid I am of any member of the rodent family that's down to squirrels and chipmunks. Okay? I cannot stand all members of the rodent family. Rabbits, bunnies, no. What else is going on that day? I mean, is there something we're supposed to be doing?
Why are you going there? Why are you going there? You know I'm going to ask you. It falls the same day as the inauguration of the new president.
The what? Excuse me? I'm sorry.
So in other words, Monday.
So onesies. Now, folks, don't ever think you're going to see us all on a show with onesies on. Don't do that.
You might see me. You might see me.
You'll see me and LaLa, because we oftentimes wear ours.